Good morning, students. So what we will do today, I think gave you a hint yesterday itself. Pending chapters in economics, and then we will move ahead with BCK, right? So pending chapters in the sense we have this economies of scale. We did already the introduction of it, and you're going to do some exercise, followed by business cycle and majorly laws of production. Okay, so that is one half, and the next half we will do BCK, right? So let us start the thing. Okay, now please look at the slide. We have already gone into the introductory note. What is meant by economies of scale? Internal, external. Economies, diseconomies. Isn't it? That much you are clear? So internally you can have merits and demerits, externally merits and demerits, and this is because of the large scale expansion of any firm. You know, a firm which is in the inception stage is not going to be stagnant there. It has to grow, right? So after its growth, what are the merits and demerits, right? That is what we saw. So now you are going to do some exercise on it. I think I gave you some examples like this. So did you? I think this also you did. You perfectly found out the answer. Now you can do this. Okay. So an empirical example is given, and you're going to find out the answers. Option is also given. So as usual, you can put the heading in the notebook, in your revision notebook, and call out the answers for this. So conceptually, we saw what is meant by scale, what is economies and diseconomies. Now these are empirical examples. Please test yourself. Now you can find out the answers. I have given two important questions with a set of options, and generally the options will be like this. All the four will be there. Internal economies, diseconomies, external economies, diseconomies. Have you written the answer? Yes. What is the answer for the first one? Let's look at the answer key. External. Did you get it? And again, remember, recollect the definition. External diseconomies. It is beyond the control of the firm. This happens in the factor market, right? Second one, did you find out? Internal economies. Remember, R&D can be external or internal. We have very clearly given R&D wing of the organization. So naturally, it is an internal and it is a benefit. See, internal strengths can be financial, technical, managerial, R&D, transport, storage, labor, anything else, right? So you got both the answers correct, external and internal. Next one. Please do this also. Again, empirical example from this segment. We have given you two important empirical examples. First one is constraints in the skill of the labor force. Question one is constraints in the skill of the labor force. Second one is the statistical report of the government ensured that the cement industry will be having an upward trend. The PNM, the bigwig in the cement sector, sees the chance to enhance their market share. So you have to read the case studies and answer whether it is internal or external. Whenever case examples are there, give time to read the question once or twice, right? Let it be elasticity of demand, let it be elasticity of supply. Wherever case example is given, because a hint will be subtle, you have to understand and comprehend the question asked and then reply, right? Were you able to get the hint for the second one? Yeah, is it? This is only a sample. Like this, they can take from, I have given from R&D, from technology, etc., statistical publication, etc. They can give from financial, managerial, and any of the thing they can give you. Transportation, warehouse facilities. You must be able to cull out from the question whether it is internal or external, whether it is economies or diseconomies, right? So shall we release the answer key? Not yet. Yes, you have finished, Maharaja. You were able to understand the second one also. Okay, let's see. If you do the second one correctly, we have to appreciate you, because it's like, one sample question of twist I wanted to give you. First one is little direct. It will not be difficult for you. It will not be tough for you. Second one is bit. Yes, done. Can I release the answer key now? Okay. So look at the answers. First one is internal diseconomies. How many of you got it correct? That's great. Second one, external economies. Yes, how many of you got it correct? Very good. So you have understood the question, no? So they, because of the, I don't have to do a research study. I didn't do. Government did, and I got that cue, got that tip, and I laid a path for the growth of my firm or company. So it is external and it's an advantage, right? So that is what you have to know. Yes. Now we are going to business cycles. So remember, internal and external economies and diseconomies. As I already told you, you can read from Bharadwaj material. If you find it so extensive there, you can read it from your parent source also, because the way you understand is very important. Now we are going to business cycles. My dear students, there is always a question on phases of business cycle. You have to look into the picture given and identify whether it is expansion or a peak or contraction, whatever it is, right? That is very, very important for you. So that is why we begin this with phases of business cycle or stages of business cycle. And it is better in Bharadwaj material also we have incorporated from parent source. We have added some examples and some explanatory notes. So you can pretty well go through Bharadwaj material, because business cycle is a chapter which can be dealt with differently, like monetary economics. Here it is business cycle in the context of managerial decision making. So how it is useful for business decisions is the crux of it. So in that way you have to study. So the four important aspects, these four are very, very important for you, and they will, please take down these four sentences. In fact, I found these sentences also in question paper. So instead of asking you as a fill up, I wanted you all to take it down, because this has literally been asked thrice or four times. So what is an expansion? Expansion characterized by increase in national output and all other economic variables. That is expansion. Look at the alternative names, boom or upswing. So because we are following the parent source, I want you to be very clear in the definitions. So peak of boom or prosperity refers to the top or the highest point of the business cycle. Likewise, contraction, also called as downswing or recession, when there is a fall in the levels of investment, employment. Trough or depression, off repeated question. The other name for depression is off repeated, so it is very important. Trough or depression occurs when the process of recession is complete and there is severe contraction in economic activities. There is severe contraction in economic activities. So please read these definitions, revise these definitions which come under the category of Oft repeated question. What is expansion? What is contraction? What is trough or depression? Is very important for you. This is the fundamental point I want to give, and you have to study business cycle with reference to managerial decision making. That is how the chapter ends. The end of it is how these business cycles operations have to be predicted, forecasted, so that businessmen can frame decisions, their policy decisions, internal policy decisions, production policy decisions, marketing policy decisions according to these swings. Can you understand that part? Please come. Have you taken down the definition for all these points? Expansion, peak of boom, contraction, and trough or depression. Have you taken it down? The core points? Must pick up speed also. That is very important, no? Have you completed? Next one. Leading, lagging, coincident indicators. Students lose marks in this segment. Typically for you, please understand, that is one technical question. If you want to say, it is indicators. They will give you a variable and ask you to find out whether it is leading, lagging, or coincident. Do you remember these three terms? You remember these three terms? So what does leading indicator imply? What is the meaning of leading indicator? That is, even before the onset of the trade cycle, certain variables will show that trend. And when you look at the trend, you know that that phase of trade cycle is going to set in. That is leading. What is lagging? The phase would set in, and followed by it, you have the change in the variable. So they lag behind. Lagging is what? Bit slow. And what is slow here? The change in the variables is after the phase has set in. After that particular phase has set in. That is lagging. And coincident is parallelly. The phase, as soon as the phase is operating, simultaneously these variables will change. Now, two type of questions are there, and revision is mandatory, my dear students. I do not know why, but the students skip generally the indicators of business cycle, and it is there found in the question paper. Now, two types of question is whether they give you a statement and you have to find out whether it is leading, lagging, or coincident. The other type of question is the variable. Is that clear? So you have to, they will give you the variable. If it is interest rate, leading indicator. If it is corporate profit, lagging indicators. If it is inflation, coincident indicators. Likewise, it is asked repeatedly. So that is very important. A technical question. Why it is called as a technical question? You can't just write on your own. This has been thoroughly studied by policymakers, seen by economists, bureaucrats, and then it has been given. So you cannot, there is no choice in your hands. So that is one important thing. Okay. So today when I test you, I will test you on this also. I will ask some question on this also. And the other part of business cycle which is important is features. Features. There is one segment called as features, and the concluding segment will be relevance of business cycle to business managers. So features and managerial decisions, this topic you can read as generally. There is nothing like, I have to like elasticity of demand or cost or revenue analysis. It's not like that. Give a solid reading. By now you would have done, but 2-3 readings by way of revision so that you can understand. While indicators is a technical question, features and managerial decisions are a general type of question from this. Okay, they are not very technical points. You yourself can also understand the operation of trade cycle from what the statement they have given, and you can reply to that. Is that clear? So remember, phases, that 3 definitions, 3 or 4 which you took down, is very important. Indicators is a technical question. Unless you study, you can't do it. And features and managerial decision making, just go through and give a glimpse into that. Okay, have you taken the examples of all the 3 indicators? Yes, have you completed? So when I give the test, some general questions I'll give on this.
The housing sector is going to rent or land?
It will come in both. So they will give like A and B, B and C option. It will come like both. Okay, completed? Fine. I find people still writing. Finished? Okay. Now please answer these questions. If you would have studied business cycle, then you can answer these questions. If you have studied, questions have been taken in such a way. Here, quotes are also given. Please come. The dash phase is characterized by increase in national output, employment, aggregate demand, capital and consumer expenditure, sales, profits, rising stock prices, and bank credit. Second one, decrease in input demand pulls input prices dash. Dash is a severe form of recession and is characterized by extremely sluggish economic activities. According to dash, names of economists, fluctuations in economic activities are due to fluctuations in aggregate effective demand. According to dash, trade cycle is a purely monetary phenomenon. According to dash, modern business activities are based on the anticipation of business community and are affected by waves of optimism or pessimism. According to dash, innovation theory, trade cycles occur as a result of innovations which take place in the system from time to time. The dash theory propounded by Nicholas Calder holds that business cycles result from the fact that present prices substantially influence the production at some future date. Tough or easy? How do you find? This is tough. One more round of questions I have to give you. I'm getting the cue that you have not touched business cycles. Yeah, please come. Eight are there, no? In 8, if you get 5 marks, then we can appreciate you. When some foreign language is written, no, on the board, that time we will like, we'll be blinking like anything, no? Like that you people are today now for this. What she has written, Spanish or Latin, you're thinking? One more round of questions on this I have to. Anybody has got Bharadwaj material? Please pass it. Yes, anybody got Bharadwaj material? Nobody. At least pass that capsule, no? Give me one capsule at least. Did you all collect that yesterday? Did you distribute? Ask more questions. Thank you so much. Okay, time up. Have you completed? Do you have any hopes of completion if I give you time? If it is not there, then no need to give time on this. Okay, I have to ask you so many things. I am going to release the answer key now. Let us see. 5 on 8 should be the target. Okay. Some of you will get, no? I feel. Okay. Now the answer key is going to be released. Have you written some questions? Have you attempted some questions at least? Yes. Yes, Akshaya, Dheeraj, have you all completed?
No.
You are coming in a rapido very rapidly, but writing speed is very
No,
less.
because
This table is causing you some suffering.
yes, no.
He is unable to. Yeah. Maybe you can sit in the chair, some executive chair you can sit and keep the. If this is not comfortable. Okay, now I am releasing the key. Everybody is waiting for you, 2 people. Now look at the answer. Take down the answer. So the first one is the expansion phase is characterized by increase in national output. Decrease in demand, input demand pulls input prices down. That you would have done, no? Depression is a severe form of recession. According to Keynes, fluctuations in economic activities are due to fluctuations in aggregate effective demand. See, look at Keynes' definition. We are expecting this. Hawtrey is a monetary economist, therefore we can expect it. According to Hawtrey, trade cycle is purely a monetary phenomenon. According to Hawtrey. Pigou, I think I have already introduced Pigou to you all, father of welfare economics. According to Pigou, modern business activities are based on the anticipation of business communities and are affected by waves of optimism or pessimism. Kindly note down this names of economists, and this slide is very, very important to you. Okay. According to Schumpeter's innovation theory, trade cycles occur as a result of innovations which takes place in the system from time to time. The cobweb theory propounded by Nicholas Calder holds that Business cycles result from the fact that present prices substantially influence the production of some future date. Production at some future date. So here you have names of economists like Keynes, Hartree, Pigot, and Schumpeter. All these economies are from different fields, and here they have given you to understand that trade cycle is so vast and a comprehensive phenomenon. You can't confine it to one particular component. Okay, have you all taken down the correct answers? Anybody got 5 on 8? I'll be very happy to note. 4? Seriously? Very good, excellent. Here 3? Not bad. Okay, you are appreciated even for 3 marks. Now take in the next set of questions for you. Since you are very strong in this subject, in this topic, I want you to test more on it. Okay, answer these questions. The line passing through the phases of business cycle, dividing the upswing and downswing, is known as expand GDP. When an economy is sliding from the peak position, it is in the stage of dash. Okay. Unemployment is an example of dash indicator. According to dash, business cycles are fluctuations in economic activities of organized communities. Downswing is also known as dash, just as upswing is known as boom. When an economy picks up from the state of depression and moves forward, it is said to be dash. Okay, so try to fill up these things. Let us see what you are able to do. Have you answered all? One more I will add. Interest rate is an example of dash indicator. Okay. So have you completed? Yes, very good. Some of you have already said yes, that's very good. Others, do you need time or completed? Okay. Now shall we fill up the answers? Yes, completed. Is there anyone still doing? Yes. I'm going to send you one revised notes for business cycle. Anyway, so far you have not touched. It's better that I add, that questions from scanner and all, I'll put it and I will post it as a PDF. Finished? Okay. Now the first question. The line passing through the phases of business cycle dividing the upswing and is known as what?
Trend line.
Another name can you give? An economic term. Thoroughly an economic term, Keynesian jargon, however we want, you can say. Trend line, yeah, it's a statistical thing, but very close to economics, there is a term. That is where I am giving the clue is in dividing upswing and downswing. That is causing the division of upswing and downswing. That is a clue. Anybody written any other answer? Trend line is a statistical term. Full employment line. It is a Keynesian term actually. Okay. Expand GDP. Very good. Gross domestic product. Okay. When an economy is sliding from the peak position, it is in the stage of recession. Sliding. That is the term. Sliding, coming down. Right? Okay. Unemployment is an example of very good lagging indicator. According to, this is Mitchell. Very good. Excellent. This is the first definition in your book actually. Mitchell. Downswing is also known as, just as upswing is known as boom. Another term. Like boom,
Bane. Bane.
bane. No. It starts with letter S. Slump. Yes. Perfect answer. Slump. Okay. When an economy picks up from the state of depression and moves forward, it is said to be recovering or reviving. Interest is an example of leading indicator. Anybody has got full score? How many questions were given? 8. Any 8 on 8? 7? 6? Very good, yeah. 6 is a very good one. 5? Okay. 4? Till 4 we will see. Good. Good attempt only you have made. That's nice. Now come to the next one. As you have taken down those factors, causes of trade cycle, my dear students, where the students make mistake is they consider these parameters as internal factor, I mean external factors. It is not so, because when you do PESL and all, government will come under external macro factor. This is a special classification for business cycle. It is not like your micro and macro. It is not like your PESL analysis. It is not similar to business environment chapter, because under external factors, they have given only those factors which is beyond the control of anybody. Right? Something which is natural. Whereas in internal causes, variations in government spending, macroeconomic policies and all, they say that somebody can control it. Who is that? Government. If not the company, government can control it. So they are not micro, I mean they are not macro here. Please note, specifically I'm giving you this classification of internal causes and external causes is different from the micro macro classification you have already studied. So for this chapter you have to forget what is meant by external factors, because here by external, by macro, we are saying something which is out of our control. What happened last week fully? We were all in this, no? This is the state. So let it be war, post-war scenario, technology shock, natural factors, population growth. Nobody can control it except destiny. And if you have belief in God, God. Internal is, let it be government, let it be outside the company. But still it is an internal cause. Why? Because there is some controlling authority over it. If not my company, government. If not national government, international forums. Can you understand? WTO, IMF, through UNCTAD, various measures are there, no? So in internal causes, instead of asking you as a question, I want you all to take it down. Today for business cycle, there are a lot of core points you have to take it down. The reason is, the topic as given for you is little different from what is given in several books. Business cycle as such, it's a very, very comprehensive. Some people thoroughly study it as a monetary phenomenon. What happens to money supply during inflation and deflation? That is one set of study. Government policies is one set of study. For you, it is connected with business. Can you understand this point? So take down the internal causes, take down the external causes. Among the two, internal causes are difficult to find out. And look at this particularly, as I say, variations in government spending. General tendency will be to call this as external. I mean, beyond the control of a firm. Here, controlling power can be company, can be government, can be international government or international organization. Some control over it. All those factors will come under internal causes. So that is why we have fluctuations in effective demand, fluctuations in investment, variations in government spending, macroeconomic policies, money supply, psychological factors. Can you understand? So have you taken down this list as such? So repo rate is an internal factor because it's a policy which can be controlled by government, whereas cyclone is an external factor. Okay, it's a disaster, natural disaster. Have you got it? So in business cycle topic, definitions and given by different experts is one category you have to study. Causes internal and external. Some of the important features, how it's a wave-like movement and such a study. I will give you a question on features little later. And also you must study the particular thing we did, no? What is the exercise we did previously? General question like what is this GDP and stuff like that, no? Based on the revival, recovery, full employment line, etc. Okay, so have you understood this part? And then business cycle, the last part is 3 important case studies. So a revised notes is going to be supplied to you. It will be shared today itself. It will be posted. Look for it. Okay. The 3 important case studies you have to go through is the Great Depression of 1930s, the information technology bubble burst of 2000, and global economic crisis. I mean, the current one, 2008-9. I think most of you will be familiar with all the three. Yes, and Great Depression of 1930s led to the birth of Keynesian economics or macroeconomics. You know that, isn't it? I will give one line on that, but I'm going to show you a small note on these three case studies because there is a hint by the question paper, from the question papers, that they could be asking you now empirical cases on business cycle. That is one added thing they want to ask you, test you upon. Information technology bubble burst. How many of you know that? In roughly around 2000, if you see, any company which had a prefix of E or a suffix of .com, no, they will be given a guarantee license, they will start operating, and what will happen is, whatever they do manipulation, people were easily exploited. That .com or E was one of the craziest thing of that particular era, millennium itself. And one fine day we understood that all is not true about this .com affair, and there is something where manipulation is happening. Okay, so that is, and one fine day that bubble burst. IT bubble, we say IT so much. Today also there is a craze, but those were the times where people, companies started manipulating by adding this prefix E or .com. If you say, that means you stand somewhere, and automatically investing in those companies. Suddenly one fine day share market crashes. Who is responsible? These IT companies, fake IT companies. Can you understand that? And third one is global economic crisis. Everybody, I think, knows. Isn't it? Two important crises, house loan default. Isn't it? So the banks were giving loans to the people above their repayment eligibility, and there was a hype in the housing sector, and one fine day it crashed, and economies went into a depression. And similarly, euro crisis, a small default which took place in one of the euro zones finished or collapsed all the economies across globe. Okay, these three things, but just have a note of Great Depression of 1930s. What is very important is I've given you here. So look at it. It happened in 1930s, and it fell around where the GDP fell by 15%. You know, it's a massive fall. So that is why we call it as a Great Depression. And here, of course, again, economists have different opinion, and it was John Maynard Keynes who said that it's because of the effective demand, where aggregate demand function went below the aggregate supply function, and that parity is called as full employment. So Keynesian theory became popular. However, also other monetary economists and others came about with different kinds of opinion. And when did this recovery started happening? Slowly from 1933. Okay, a small note on a Great Depression of 1930s. Those which are given in red for you to understand how they can question you from this segment. Okay, I'm also intending you to share the notes on business cycle. Now look at this information technology bubble of 2000. So one of you please read the red points from the board. One of you read the red points from the board. This is very, very important information, IT bubble. Who is going to read? One who has proper eyesight and can read from this can do it.
Information technology bubble or .com bubble roughly covered the period 1997 to 2000. During this period, many new internet-based companies, commonly referred as .com companies, started.
.com companies. Have you heard of it? It was like a big craze and also funfair. Everything, you know, with the .com was appreciated. Yeah.
The low interest rates in 1998 to 1999 encouraged the startup internet companies to borrow from the market.
So these internet companies started borrowing like anything from the market and hyping themselves. One fine day, stock market crashed because of these companies. Right? Please read.
Due to over optimism in the market, investors were less cautious. These companies offered their service or end products for free. The growth over profit mentality led some companies to engage in lavish internal spending, such as elaborate businesses.
You know, growth over profit. That question they can ask you. Which incident depicts it? Generally, when it is a company, profits are primary, right? Growth over profits. I want to grow, let me not even make profit. I will be spending lavishly, but growth may not happen. So growth over profit is a theory which explains IT bubble burst of 2000. Please register it very well. It's very important. Okay, no company would give this policy. Growth over profit. Let me not make profit, but I have to grow. I have to be there in the market. Let it be a loss making thing. That is impossible, right? That is where this cannot sustain for long, right? Okay. Then global crisis. Who is going to read the full thing? Who is going to read?
The recent global economic crisis owes its origin to US.
All of you pay attention or jot down important points, but your focus must be on this. Yeah.
The recent global economic crisis owes its origin to US financial markets. Following information technology bubble burst of 2000, the US economy went into recession. In order to take the economy out of recession, the US Federal Reserve, the central bank of US, reduced the rate of interest. This led to large liquidity or money supply with the banks. With lower interest rates, credit became cheaper and the households, even with lower creditworthiness, began to buy houses in increasing numbers. Increased demand for houses led to increased prices for them. The rising prices of housing led both households and banks to believe that prices would continue to rise. Excess liquidity with banks and availability of new financial instruments led banks to lend without checking the creditworthiness of borrowers. Loans were given to households and also to those persons who had no income or assets. Houses were built in excess during the boom period, and due to their oversupply in the market, house prices began to decline in 2006. Housing bubble got burst in the second half of the 2007.
That's enough. Okay, so do you understand? Even without screening the repayment ability of the borrower, housing loans were sanctioned. And one fine day, what happens? They cannot repay, and banks will go into bankruptcy, right? Insolvency kind of a thing. So that is what is discussed as a reason for global economic crisis. Cheaper rate of interest made investors invest in houses, and people took housing loans in excess of their ability to repay. Okay, so these three incidences are empirical examples of crash. Okay, so it is very, very important, and I suppose you have noted it at least. Yes, we are going to laws of production. Right away, start the test. Fundamental questions in laws of production. There are major laws of production. What are they? I have not given the number of the laws. You have to give the number of the laws and the names of the laws. Laws of production. Under dash means under dash law, we study the behavior of output when all factors are increased in the same proportion. Under dash law, we study the behavior of output when all factors are increased in the same proportion. Next question. The law which examines the relationship between one variable factor and output, keeping the quantities of other factors fixed, is called as the dash. The quality of the variable factors is varied in the law of variable proportion. True or false? In dash approach, there is one law having different phases, whereas in the dash approach, there are separate laws to define the phases. Is this question paper easy? How is this beginning on laws of production? A favorable one? Yes. Done. Can we release the answer key? Yes. Was it easy, Vishal, for you? Little bit. Some of you, I think, are aspiring for All India rank. Yes. How many of you? You don't want to share that secret? You are prepared very well and yes, Akshaya, you are aiming for that. Very good. Your friend has released that secret now. Yes, Dheeraj, have you completed answering? Only one. Others all done, no? Very good. Yeah. It's not bad. Okay. Look at the answer key now. 3 laws. Law of variable proportion, law returns to scale, laws of returns. Okay. And in that, do you remember laws of variable? Law of variable proportion is a modern law. And the classical version of it is called as laws of returns. Okay. Then under returns to scale. See that repeated question, no? Where is one variable, one factor variable, one is fixed, all are variable. Like that, they'll question you on that itself. Under returns to scale, we study the behavior of the output when all the factors are increased in the same proportion. When all, that's why here, the meaning of the term scale is what? All inputs put together. You remember that? This is not size of the firm. Here it is all the inputs put together. So that is the meaning of the term scale in laws of production. Can you note it? Yes. Third one. Have you got this answer correct? The law which examines the relationship between one variable factor and keeping others constant is law of variable proportion. Did you all get it right? Okay, then. Quality of the variable factors is varied in the law of variable proportion. False. Why?
It is
Homogeneous. The assumption we say no. So what are you varying is the quantity, the number. I think we saw the example, no? Oh, is it quantity? Let's check that. I wanted to ask on quality. Quality only. I wanted to ask on quality, that is why I kept it like that. Okay. See, the quantity is alone varied. We saw no labor. We took labor as an example. So I cannot have a laborer. I can increase the number of laborers. But in terms of their efficient performance, if I am taking one as semi-skilled, one as skilled, one as a graduate, okay, that is not allowed here in this particular experiment. Okay, that is the meaning of it. It's a repeated one. They will test you on this assumption. In modern approach, there is only one law having different phases. Okay, whereas in the classical approach, there are separate laws to define the phases. Under laws of returns, how do we study? Law of increasing returns, law of decreasing returns, law of constant returns separately. Whereas under law of variable proportion, which is a modern law, how do we study? Stage 1, 2, 3, phase 1, 2, 3. That is a question here. So this is law of variable proportion. This is laws of returns. Can you understand this? Have you noted down the answers? Anybody got a full correct? All. Oh dear. This also was correct. Modern and classical approach. Very good. Good preparation. For any doubts in laws of production, contact Akshaya and Balasubramanian. For market structure, already reference number and contact numbers have been given to you. Okay. Now do the second set of questions. Vignesh. Yes, don't get tired so early because you have BCK big segment. Take it down. Identify from the given the law which studies changes in the output resulting from keeping one factor constant, all others variable. Options are given to you: law of available proportion, law of returns to scale, laws of returns, law of supply. Okay. Another example question is identify the incorrect statement from the given law of variable proportion. State of technology is constant. Only one factor is made variable, other factors are kept constant. This law is not applicable to those cases where the factors must be used in rigidly fixed proportions to yield a product. Land alone is taken as a fixed factor. So among the four, there is one incorrect statement which you have to identify. This is one type of question, correct and incorrect sentences. A third question is, if doubling of all the inputs leads to output more than double, then it is dash. Identify the major law and the sub law. Okay. These are different types of questions, coming from laws of production. DR, that is diminishing returns or decreasing returns, is associated with which sector? It's a repeated question. The scale line passing through the origin is called as the dash. Laws of returns is applicable in the short run only. True or false? Address all these last two questions are repeatedly found in the question papers. Yes, Pavitra, these questions are very easy. No, I thought by your broad smile indicated that. Yes, paper is easy for me. Finished or not? Yes? Still see? No, no, no is a reply. So difficult, huh? Immediately I have to send a production assignment. Production, business cycle, market structures. Okay, now I am going to release the answer key. Okay, question 1. So identify from the given law, from the given the law which studies changes in output resulting from keeping one factor constant, all others variable. Answer is laws of returns. Under law of variable proportion, one factor is kept variable, others are fixed. Exactly opposite is laws of returns, where one factor is kept fixed, all others are variable. And in returns to scale law, what happens? Everything is made variable. All factors are changed. That's why scale. All inputs put together. Okay. Second question. Were you able to identify the incorrect sentence? Land alone. That is incorrect, because in modern law you can take any factor which is having those properties of fixity, you can take it, right? Then next one, law of returns. Under that, law of increasing returns. Major law is law of returns, sub law is law of increasing returns. You remember the short forms we used in class? IRS, yes, DRS, CRS. Very good. So the major law is law of returns, laws of returns. Sub law is increasing returns, law of increasing returns. Doubling of all inputs lead to output more than doubled. No, the answer should be law of increasing returns to scale. It should be law of increasing returns to, because all inputs. Okay, this answer is erroneous. So law of increasing returns to scale, when all the inputs are increased. That is what the meaning of scale. No, instead of scale, they are using the term law. So what is the major law? Returns to scale. Sub law is law of increasing returns to scale. Okay. DR is associated with primary sector. It was given by Marshall. Likewise, increasing returns is associated with manufacturing sector, given by Marshall. But there were arguments why you have to associate primary with diminishing, and by economists. Remember, female economist Mrs. Joan Robinson. She said, no, why should you associate like that? It's not that. Wherever there are, whichever sector is exhibiting DR, you can take it as an example, right? Now go to the next one. The scale line passing through the origin is called as the expansion path. The scale line passing through the origin is known as the expansion path. Okay. Laws of returns is applicable in the short run only. Why do you say true? It has fixed factor and variable factor. And all the factors are variable only, it can have an application in the long run. My dear students, these three are repeatedly asked. These three are repeatedly asked. How many of you got 6 on 6? 5? Very good. Where you went wrong? Oh. Okay. 4? 3? Good one. Okay, now do this. Now, like you did yesterday, TC, MC and AC, try to do the fill-ups. And some commonly asked questions from this segment. First of all, fill in the question marks. Wherever you have to fill up TP, AP and MP. Instead of TC, AC and MC, yesterday you did everything as TC, AC, MC, TR, AR, MR, isn't it? Here it is TC, TP, AP and MP. Okay, you fill it up. Then give the names of the 3 stages. Just stage 1, 2, 3 are mentioned. You have to give the names of the stages. Now, what does this point F denote? You must give. Now, what is the law we are talking about? And is it a modern law or classical law? Then from the given, identify the stage of rationality. From the table, you have to identify the stage of economic rationality. So address the table, tabular numerical segment and the other questions. Take down the data very neatly, and so that when you calculate, it will be easy for you. We have the fixed factor column given to you, and we have taken the example of machine. Variable factor, we have taken the example of labor. First column is total production in units. We have given you the numbers, the variables. I think it should be clear. 10, 22, 36, 52, question mark, 76, 80, 82, question mark, 78. And average production has been given in units. 10, 11, 12, 13, 13.2, 12.6, question mark, 10.2, question mark, and question mark. Marginal production, it starts with 10, 12, you have question mark, then 14, 10, 4 to 0, again question mark. Do the numerical part and address the questions. Finished? Ramya, Nisha, completed or doing? Yes, finished, Balasubramaniam. Very good. Is it easy? Was the questions simple? Yes? Finished, huh? All of you are finished? Can we release the answer key? What about you, Shalini and Akshaya? Completed? Dhanushri? Finished. Dhanushri, keep it on this arm because you will get neck pain then. Keep it like them, no? So that is better actually. Yes. Now we are going to release the answer key. Some of you are still computing, calculating. Finished? Okay. You should ask sirs only. I don't know. I'm not sure actually. I cannot just say like that because any exam related question. Yes, now please look at the answers. Now for the theory part, okay. So what is this table about? Law of variable proportions. Were you able to find out that? And it is a modern law, isn't it? Then you know that laws of returns is a classical law. Okay. What does F denote? Point of inflection. What happens in inflection?
Starts to increase.
TP, the TP stops increasing at increasing rate and starts increasing at diminishing rate.
Very good. TP stops increasing at an increasing rate and starts increasing at a diminishing rate. That point is called as inflection. So point of saturation, point of equilibrium, point of inflection are repeatedly asked. Okay. Now, what is the stage of economic rationality among the three stages given? Stage 2. Though it is, and can you name the stages? First one is increasing return stage. Name of the stage 1, name of the stage 2, name of the stage 3. Shreya and Supriya. New name you are inventing. Increasing, you know. That's then second one is what? Diminishing. Second one is. Third is what? Okay, so it is increasing returns stage, diminishing returns stage, and negative returns stage. So it is not returns to scale, you end it with stage. Increasing return stage, diminishing return stage, and negative returns stage. Now look at the answers. Please check the answers whether you have written correctly. Please check your answers for TP, AP and MP. Anybody who made mistake in numericals? Correct? All correct? Yes? So remember that when you, as you were saying, how to end it, I didn't know. That is one important thing. Increasing returns stage, diminishing return stage, negative return stage. Okay? So diminishing or decreasing, both they use, but it will end with stage because laws of returns is different, returns to scale is different. Okay? Have you all taken down the answers? Everything is clear to you? Now try this. Constant returns to scale is known as dash. Constant returns to scale is explained with the tools of dash and dash. Then dash and dash are the hurdles to CRS. Scarcity and indivisibility, soil fertility and gestation period, fertility and scarcity, none of the given. Fill in the blanks. MP is equal to function of mx, comma. Okay. Next one. In dash, the distance between the successive isoproduct curves is declining or falling. Who gave this? I've quoted one definition for you and you have to identify who gave this. An increase in the capital and labor applied in the cultivation of land causes in general a less than proportionate increase in the amount of the produce raised, unless it happens to coincide with an improvement in the arts of agriculture. We did this definition in the class with due explanation for the same, so you must be able to identify it. Law of dash is a case where one factor is variable, keeping all other factors constant. Laws of dash, that's when you have to fill it up. Here all the inputs are increased in the given proportion. Are these set of questions difficult or easy? Moderate. Moderate category. See, among the three laws, it may be from any. We have given a blend of it, okay? It's not from one particular thing, it is from anything. Completed? You have finished, huh? Thinking. Okay, let's get into it. Look at the answers now. Constant returns to scale is known as linear homogeneous production function. That is the economist definition of constant returns to scale. Repeated question. Linear homogeneous production function. Okay, anybody got it right? Remembered? Very good. That's fantastic. Next, CRS is explained with the tools of scale line and iso product map. You can write it as iso quant, iso product map, whatever it is. Scale line will go like this. And you will have curves, like indifference curve, you have these curves coming in, isn't it? Scarcity of some factors and indivisibility of some factors are hurdles to CRS. Because soil fertility and all will not come for constant returns to scale. It is in extractive industries. Okay. Then look at the MP. So M times the output will come when you are adding M times X, M times Y. X and Y denote the factors. M refers to the number of units or number of times, whatever it is. So under constant returns to scale, when X and Y are increased by M times, production also, or the output also increases by M times. So M stands for times. M time P is increasing because X and Y, which are the factors, have been increased by those number of times. Okay. In IRS, increasing returns to scale, the distance between the iso product lines are declining. You remember that? It will be a contradictory picture. When they are coming closer and closer, we call it as IRS. When they go farther away, we call it as DRS. And this coming together is a sign of efficiency. I require less and less of input investment for getting the same level of increase in output. You remember that? And for more and more, I have to invest more and more for getting the same increase in the level of output, which is a sign of inefficiency, which is DRS. Okay. Who gave this? None other than Alfred Marshall. Okay. So the answer is Law of variable proportion, one factor is kept variable. See, study this part very clearly. One factor is kept variable, all others are fixed. That is law of variable proportion. Laws of returns to scale. This is where all the inputs are increased in a given proportion. All the inputs put together is a definition for the term scale. Can you follow that? Yes? Okay. Identify the law and fill in the table. What is your name, ma? Today at least I will know your name. Madina. Okay. Madina, were you able to identify the law? Were you able to fill the table? Doing it? Finished? Were you able to identify the law? Very good. Okay. What is the law? Returns to scale. Sure? 100%? Yes? Really? Any other option is there? Returns to scale? Look at what is given. Answer is right, glaring in the example itself. In the class I told you that for this particular law they will give you some examples which you have to take the hint and clue. Look at the term factory. Then look at column 1. Then see whether it is returns to scale. What is the clue? Law of returns. Why? Because this is a fixed factor. One factor is fixed, others are variable. I am wearing this. This is a fixed factor. There is a classification. It cannot be returns to scale. It is law of returns. If it was one variable factor and other fixed factors, I can call it as law of variable proportion. This is law of returns. And under that we are showing increasing returns. The answer is law of increasing returns. See whether you got the thing correctly. The numbers, numericals. Yes. So it is not returns to scale, my dear students. Please look at the tables very carefully. They will give you some indications that it is about whether it is laws of returns. So this is a fixed factor. They can give you here land, building, machinery, plant, installation, equipment, factory, anything, which is a sign of fixed factor. The other components will be increasing. So one factor kept fixed and other factors made variable comes under law of returns. Okay. He got the answer correct. Numericals were correct. Okay. Another round of questions on the three major laws. Please take up these questions. MP curve will be sloping dash under law of IR, increasing returns. The law of dash represents a transition or en route. The term was given to you if you can remember. Law of diminishing returns. What will happen to MP when TP is increasing at a diminishing rate? Law of dash returns. Under that, when MP is increasing, TP is a dash at an increasing rate. Under law of constant returns, MP is a dash when TP is increasing at a constant rate. Such types, this is also a template kind of a question. What will be TP when, without showing the table, they can ask you. You saw a table, you saw a tabular representation, a schedule, and answered some theory questions and numericals. Now this is like it's a graph based question, but graph is not there. Graph or table is not there. So go to particular law, see, recollect what that graph or table is, and then answer. Finished? Yes, Ashwati, completed and waiting for the answers. Excellent preparation. For laws of production, contact Ms. Ashwati. But you have completed, right? So several contact numbers are getting in the class now. For those lazy fellows, no, those people who didn't turn up, give them all these contact numbers. Or lying in their beds as couch potatoes. Tell them that. Where is this Madesh fellow, yeah? And Sri Ram, Krishna. What happened to these people? Vikram.
Krishna has fever.
He's having what?
Fever.
He told you?
Yeah.
But yeah, Vikram and all, I'm not seeing at all. Sri Ram, Vikram. Maybe the exam time is fast approaching, no? They have their own timetable to do. isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, now let's get into this. MP curve will be sloping upward under law of increasing returns. My dear students, instead of telling that as numbers, MP will be increasing under increasing returns to scale, they are giving you the term sloping upward. Do you see? Instead of numbers, in graphical form, they are giving you this. The curve will be going up, MP curve. Can you note this type of question? How many of you got it correct? Upward sloping. The law of constant returns represents a transition or en route. Did you get this correct? Constant return is a transition or en route between, we saw no, from diminishing returns to increasing returns, or vice versa. You will not have a sudden jump. You will go slowly from increasing. You will reach this constant return point and then you may fall because of inefficiency. Or when you want to rise from DR, suddenly you can't be generating and increasing returns. There is a midway and then you go to that, right? Okay. Third one, look at it. Law of diminishing returns. MP will be declining. At that time, TP is increasing at a diminishing rate. Did you get this correct? Yes? Okay. Then the next one, and note, TP is not diminishing. Okay. So MP is declining, TP is increasing at a diminishing rate. In the next case, law of increasing returns. What happens? MP will be increasing at that time, TP will be increasing at a increasing rate. Okay. Now law of constant returns, MP is constant and TP is increasing at a constant rate. Now, do you know the shape of the MP curve? You know, whether it is upward or downward sloping MP curve under constant returns. How is the shape of MP? Horizontal. Excellent answer. Very, very important. Okay. I think I have given you. Okay. Now this, you identify this law. Law of variable proportion. So what made you, what are the points which made you identify this as a law of variable proportion? Point of inflection, very good. Three stages in one law. Isn't it? Stage 1, 2 and 3. Now here, where is the declining stage? Where is the increasing and decreasing? Negative. Now, my dear students, we find students making not at all registering this. Do you know that? You're not at all registering this point. That is where, see, this is expansion path. And a family of iso product curve is known as iso product map. That's why we use two tools for explaining this returns to scale. Please remember, this is your expansion path. This line. Okay. These indifference curve for a producer, from a producer's perspective, we call it as isoquant, isoproduct, equal product. Remember that? So this is this. So please note this. In our Bharadwaj material extensively we have given, and also in one topic where we collated all the small concepts and gave it as selected portions from different topics. We have given difference between indifference curve, consumer equilibrium and producer's equilibrium. For consumer equilibrium, what do we use? The curves which are used will be your indifference curve and budget line. Okay. And for producer's equilibrium, isocost and isoquant. Instead of budget line, the term used is isocost. Can you follow that? So look at this. The success of the difference between success of isoproduct will be constant, will be the same. Equal distance for constant returns to scale will be diminishing for increasing returns to scale, will be increasing for decreasing returns to scale. So these two are very important graphs for the examination, because with and without graph they are asking you questions. Can you follow this? With and without graphs. Have you made a note of it? Yes. So look at this. What is this? Identify. Law of constant returns given. That is what she said, horizontal line. Know how this MP is. So it will be a straight line parallel to the x-axis. This you have done. So with this we are finishing our economics. Okay, and we can start our BCK.